According to Popowski, who wrote Gene Diet Interactions in Childhood Obesity, the accelerating rate of childhood obesity and the fact that the treatment remains largely ineffective are concerns that underline the need for further research and key factors of obesity. So, today in our society, childhood obesity has become a huge epidemic, and there's several factors that lead to childhood obesity. The first of those happen to be the environment that we live in. A busy society leads to more fast food eating. With parents always on the go, kids always having games, kids always having to go to school, everybody always busy, that leads to us having to settle for going through fast food drive-throughs, settling for processed foods that are cooked in nothing but grease, which helps lead to the factor of childhood obesity. Another factor in this issue happens to be the socioeconomic status. The lower the social class, the more prevalent the issue is. Some families aren't able to afford a healthy lifestyle or healthy eating. And another huge issue to this factor happens to be the lack of physical activity. The increased push for technology reduces the time for physical activity. With video games and cell phones and tablets and iPads and things along those lines, it makes it a lot harder to get kids to want to go outside, be active, be physical. And another huge factor in this issue happens to be hereditary. Genetics and learned traits are a big factor to this. Kids learn bad habits from parents who happen to eat fast food multiple times a day and things along those lines. And the dietary patterns can sometimes be a factor as well, such as overeating or eating lots of junk food because it's easier to access. But with this problem, there's always a solution. And one of those solutions for this issue happens to be increased physical activity. If you could get those tablets or those cell phones or those video games out of the child's hand just for a little bit of time and get them to go outside just for a little bit of time, set a certain time frame. We've got to have 30 minutes of increased activity. And according to WAFA, the association between physical activity and high related quality of health in children, over the past decade, numerous well-established studies have been reported the benefits of physical activity, including skeletal health, obesity prevention, and psychological health in children. Another way to help with this issue is making physical activity fun. Incorporate games, dodgeball, basketball, things along those lines where you get to be active but also get to enjoy yourself. And another way to prevent this issue happens to be by monitoring your child's eating habits. Don't set a bad example. Be a good example. Let's eat healthy foods. Let's encourage our children to eat their vegetables and things along those lines. And another prevention to this issue happens to be just simply educating our children about the side effects of obesity, about the junk food that they may be eating, about being sheltered in the home, playing video games, playing on your cell phone, and not being active. When you lack physical activity, that kind of leads to no choice but to gain weight, and which leads to obesity. And one other thing that you can really focus on is modeling what is notorious by one's own eating habits. Some people require texture eating and can only handle certain flavors and things along those lines. So try to incorporate some of those healthy things to where it is enjoyable for the children.